You look at what's going on there at the CBS focus group. You look at what's going on in the CNN focus group, and everybody's saying the same darn thing. You know what? We're not satisfied. We don't think this woman can really do the job. Listen.
She just basically repeated everything that Biden has said in the past.
What were your thoughts?
She made, Donald Trump made a strong closing statement by saying, why didn't they do all the things that she's proposing during the 3.5 years that they've been in office? And Biden did this entire moderate stance back in 2020, and she's trying to do it again in 2024, but she didn't talk about her policy changes between 2020 and 2024. Her whole centrist, moderate stance is just a facade.
Bingo. It's a facade. And she didn't articulate any kind of real difference in policy. Really, really, really stunning to see. Here's another focus group, this one here by CNN. And in this focus group, you're kind of hearing a similar pattern.
How many of you have made up your minds based on what you saw tonight on stage in Philadelphia? Raise your hands. All right, I want to ask you why. What did you see that brought you to a conclusion?
I think it's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you know what, if you're worried about inflation, et cetera, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at American Heart for Gold, because if you text Trish 65532, text my name to 65532. Remember that, 65532. Just text Trish, my first name, to them. You can get the opportunity for up to $15,000 in free silver when you purchase gold with them. So this is an opportunity. It's exclusive to those that are watching this show, the Trish Regan Show. You can also call them at 1-844-495-1115, 1-844-495-1115. You know how strongly I feel about diversification. You know how strongly I am concerned about inflation. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I keep saying gold is something you should look at in your portfolio. Now, you do you handle your own investments. I have a lot of ideas, as you know, over at 76. But I do think that gold is one of those ways that you can help even out some of the fluctuations in the market. So give them a call. Text Trish, my name, Trish, to 65532, or go to trishlovesgold.com today. Trish loves gold. But when you consider, ladies and gentlemen, you consider these focus groups, what you realize is that people are actually craving real solutions and real answers. It's one of the reasons why Donald Trump resonated in the first place. And when he goes back to what he's best on, he triumphs. For example, here he is talking about the economy, which clearly Kamala Harris can't talk about.
And she knows that we're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in.
We're going to get to that momentarily because he did mention some of those things and the anchors went a little bit crazy because, of course, these anchors clearly in the tank for one person, it wasn't Trump. So the focus groups really do show you that Americans are craving more. And I think as a result, Nate Silver, running Silver Bulletin and looking at these prediction models, is totally right. He's spot on when he said, you know what? They've got to be very careful here because she may not get the kind of bounce that they're thinking they're going to get. And when you go back to these swing states, guess what matters? The economy, and the economy some more. People are hurting. And they know that under Donald Trump, they fared a whole lot better, no matter what Kamala tries to tell you. And so they have memories. Imagine that. You know, people actually aren't going to get totally, utterly spun.